Okay.
It's the music
Music
is a
is a
show.
show.
Oh God, that
We
no,
did it. I reckon we did it. That we need to
oh,
taste that. All right.
I don't know.
We need a grade out of 10 people.
Thumbs up or
Here we
thumbs down, peeps? I
go.
don't know. What feels good in the moment might not translate to sounding or looking good in replay. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I reckon it sounded ace.
Anyway, thanks for joining us.
Yay, us. Absolutely.
Just
How is
between
it?
us.
Just between us. Just between us.
Yeah.
Excellent. We're just talking crystals actually, and what crystals do you have around your place? And Millsy, I'd love for you to show your pyramid because it's like it's a universe in a hand. It's like it's so cool. Can you put it
Yeah.
right close to the camera? Because like
Was it?
that's
We're
so
gonna
cool. What
So
is this
I'm
in the
I'm pretty
middle?
sure it's called an orgonite. Orgonite.
Mm.
So there's gold flakes at the bottom. That's amethyst. There's some kind of celestial something in there. There's a bowl. There's got a bit of reflection going on. There's but it's in resin basically.
So
Um,
pretty.
so I've got it always on my desk, but I think one of my kids must have been playing with it because it was over there and I just had to go grab it. I think the theory behind it is pyramids channel energy. So it
Mhm.
sort of compounds it and directs it
Mhm.
more powerfully.
Mm.
And I've seen all sorts of different ones. You can get different layers, but yeah, I particularly like this one. And amethyst is one of my favorite crystals.
Mhm. I
Um,
love it. Is that a crystal wave in Adelaide purchase?
no, this was online.
Okay.
Honestly, crystal shop. Yeah, you'd be able to find them pretty much anywhere.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen ones with different, like chakra color rainbows
Mhm.
in them. I've seen them with, you know, how copper is a very good conductor of energy.
Yep.
I've seen them with copper coils in them, and that's meant to help
Ooh.
direct things. But I
Mm.
just, yeah,
I
there's
reckon
no shortage of,
plug a copper coil in that in your car, it'll run it for like who needs petrol, right?
right? Yeah.
That's
And
very cool.
you had a little something. What
Yeah,
did
so
you have?
I've got a little feminine masculine thing going on. So I've got the pink egg for the feminine.
Rose quartz.
Yeah, rose quartz, and then I've got this is masculine. This is lapis
Oh
lazuli,
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe, for the la 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 for the throat. But
Great.
yeah, what I didn't realize when I was going crystal shopping one day, just at the local market down the road, and I said, "What's the difference between like why would you have these two?" And she goes, "Well, dear, this is feminine and this is masculine." I was like, "Well, of course it is, like duh." So yeah, I mean,
Phallic,
obviously,
you mean like
yeah,
right?
yeah. But it's
Oh, and
like,
the egg. I got you. Okay, the egg and
yeah,
the penis. Okay,
yeah, pretty
gotcha.
much,
Okay,
pretty much. But yeah,
yeah.
if I need to tap into the feminine, I'll grab onto this one. If I
Uh-huh.
need more masculine, organizing, logic
Okay.
energy, then I'll grab onto that one. So yeah,
Yeah,
and then
good.
I've got my little dipped Yoda in there. Sometimes when I want to channel or talk to a certain aspect of my life, which like, like money or identity or whatever, if I envision them as a person, I can
Yes.
connect with it a little bit better. So this is my
Ah.
little money Yoda. So
Oh,
if I want
good.
to channel or speak to anything to do with money, I picture it as a little entity, and this is my little money.
What's he made out of?
I can't remember now. I know that he is dipped into something though, but I thought he's green like money because we like the
Yes.
green money.
Right.
And yeah, I just thought he was really cute.
Yeah.
But he's not a Yoda, he's the baby Yoda. What was the baby Yoda?
Um, Grogu.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
The Mandalorian. No, from the
Yeah, the
Mandalorian. Yeah, yeah,
Mandalorian.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've got it
Yeah,
on a little selenite plate
yeah.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
Keep them
Love that.
charged up and
Oh,
ready to rock and roll. So yeah,
I normally do have an assortment around me. I've got my little dragon here at the moment.
I've got my elephant. It
Oh,
starts with a
nice,
C. Not selenite. Citrine.
nice.
Citrine elephant. So yeah, citrine's meant to
Yeah.
be all about the money, honey, too. So yeah, that's my little crystal collection. Anyway,
Um, yeah,
that's our show and tell.
mine's all over there at the moment on my little altar thing. But I do have my little golden healer. I use him as a pendulum as well. Just
Lovely.
sometimes.
Yes,
I know, right? So
Ashton
much
snapped my pendulum. He snapped
good
it,
energy.
snapped the chain,
Oh,
my pendulum. So yeah, but I've
oh,
got a few others running around the place. I'll have to grab onto them and find them and hide
yeah.
them,
Love
find
crystal
them.
energy. So, for those that don't know, I've done a diploma in crystal healing and all the proper. Yeah, I love crystals.
Mhm.
Just I wear an assortment of. I've got oh gosh, I must have about 20 crystal bracelets, and depending on the day and what I'm doing or what I'll need to evoke, or I'll pick different um, bracelets. So again, that's another
Amethyst.
amethyst. This is a new
Mm-hmm.
one. It's got labradorite and selenite in it
Mm-hmm.
with crackle quartz. So that's a pretty one.
Nice. Crackle quartz. I like it.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then this one, I wear this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got the tiger's eye,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Obsidian.
hematite,
Mm-hmm.
and what's the other one?
Is it black obsidian?
Yeah, yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
must be obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you find it makes a difference though? Like if like say you were having a really, really good day and then you're like, oh, hang on, I haven't got any crystal bracelets on. You're like, oh, was it all in my mind? Is there any of that?
Oh, like placebo.
Yeah. Or do you think
Look,
that
I
it
think
actually
we are absolutely capable of having a good day without wearing crystals, yes.
yeah, yeah.
But I just think it gives a little bit more emotional support as well.
Mm,
So, like, if I just say I was doing a talk and I
mm-hmm,
felt a little bit nervous, so the talking is the throat chakra, I would wear it like your lapis.
mm,
I've got a, what's it called? Oh, the name's escaping me. Sorry, brain fog. But it's a blue one anyway, and I would wear that, or I'd put one
mm,
in my pocket, or I'd
yeah.
have it here that I can hold in my hand, or
Mm-hmm,
so to help bring in the powers that crystal can bring to you.
yeah.
So, for instance, yeah, if I was doing a talk, I would have my
Mm-hmm,
blue one with me, or if I knew I was doing some heart healing, I would have my rose quartz, or even the green, like jade or something green. So green or
mm-hmm.
pink are both
Yeah,
heart
green's for
chakra
heart. Yeah,
colors.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
yeah,
permission slips, isn't it? It's all like, if you
yeah,
believe it's going to help, it's going to help. Like
yeah, yeah,
you'll see it when you believe it. So yeah,
yeah.
whatever you feel gives you support,
Right.
use it.
It,
100%.
it certainly wouldn't harm you, that's for sure. So
Absolutely.
I also always have a red jasper in my car. The person who gave that to me told me at the time it can cast a protective bubble around your car or for
Okay.
travels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just always leave it in my little side pocket next to the driver's side door. It's just in there with
Nice.
all my other bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. Yep.
Yeah.
Love our crystals. If nothing else, they're pretty.
They're very pretty and they are addictive too. Oh my God. Can you
Yeah.
go into a crystal store and not come out with anything?
Oh, of course not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We've got this
Yeah.
awesome shop up in Sassafras, which is probably about 15 minutes away from me
That's
called
a fun name to say.
Sassafras.
Sassafras.
Sassafras. Suffering, succotash. We're going to Sassafras. But yeah, it's awesome. Then you go up the hill and it's beautiful. Like it's the incense and it's got books and cards and crystals and jewelry
Nice.
and like just all of the fun stuff in there. So like
Oh, what a fun shop.
you could poke around in there for ages. And yeah, Adelaide version would be like the Crystal Wave down in
Crystal
Henley
Way.
Beach, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good
Mm.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good fun. Excellent. Now we were talking about something really cool before we started to hit the record button. What were we
All right,
talking
brain fog, come out, come out. What was it? What was it?
because you're like, oh, let's stop this conversation. We'll hit the record button. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone now.
Um,
Sorry, folks, you missed out.
two perimenopausal women trying to remember a conversation we had 10 minutes ago.
Give us an 80s lyric. We'll know it. Like, no worries at all. Oh,
That's
God.
embarrassing.
I know it was a good one too, wasn't it?
We
Oh,
were literally launching into it and we went, hang on, let's stop because this
yeah,
is so good. We need to actually record this conversation. Now, what was it?
yeah, yeah. No, no idea. No idea.
Oh, that's
But
awkward.
until then, though, I'm very much in flow at the moment. You know, when you get a good run of purchases happening, and it's like, I'm so glad I got that. I've been having a week of it today. Well, when I say a week, two
Oh,
things. But It's all good. So two words that will change your life if you haven't
Yeah.
already got one. Air fryer.
I do not have an air fryer.
It'll change your life. You have to. You have to.
People have been telling me this for years, but I don't know. Bench
Look,
space.
yep,
I don't
I
know.
thought I thought the same thing too, but I did succumb because I am spending a fortune on McDonald's. And I thought, well, I'm not
Uh,
going to be doing that anymore. So I bought some frozen chips, and every time I put them in the oven, because I thought, what do I need an air fryer for? I've got an oven. But every time I go to the oven, I have to take all of the trays out of the oven because that's where they're all stored, like the muffin
right.
tray and the pizza
Oh yeah,
tray
yeah.
and the cooking tray and all of the things. And the roasting tray, I have to take all of that out and then put it in, and it takes half an hour, la la la. And my daughter kept on saying, buy an air fryer, get an air
Mm.
fryer, get an air fryer. I'm like, no, bench space, no, no, no. What's the difference? Got an oven, don't need it, la la la. Anyway, I finally succumbed and I got one delivered through Amazon yesterday. And oh my God, I've done one batch of chips in it so far, and they're not soggy, they're crisp, they're beautiful.
Like
So,
frozen McCain fries kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
The Aldi French
Yeah, yeah,
fries.
yeah, yeah.
And they turned out beautifully. And I'm like, my God, my
Ah,
life is transformed. So I've gone to Aldi this morning and I've bought like the little samosa squares and the spring
yeah,
rolls. And
yeah. Party food.
I'm trying everything. I'm trying everything in this.
So do you have the kind that pulls out like a basket or one that with the doors that open?
Yeah, basket, just the
Okay.
basket. So like it was just, I think it was Russell Hobbs, so it was a good brand. It was like $67, I think,
Oh,
on
that's good.
Amazon delivered. So I'm like, thank you very much. So
Thanks for coming.
yeah, air fryer. So I bought air fryer. I picked like a new. So I'm very picky with perfumes, and I picked out a new perfume this morning as well. So it's all. I'm just the flow is happening.
The universe is in alignment on answering the call, is it? To
Exactly.
make your life easier and to smell better.
Yeah. Lord knows that needed to happen. It's a long time between the first of each month, but it is the first of May today, so
Oh, you're funny.
shall
What
we?
what were we talking about? That's bothering me now.
I know it was a very, very good conversation. We're talking about, so we started off, we were talking about you've enrolled into the 4 week shadow work program that
Yep,
I did
yep,
last month, and
yep,
then I've signed up to the 12-week one.
yeah.
So we talked about
We were
that.
talking about journaling and writing things down and notebooks. I
Yes.
should have written down our conversation.
I know, right? Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about we've got like a scrappy crappy journal and we've
Mm.
got like a good journal. So both of us without knowing what we've got
Yeah.
in it.
So I've got my, just the old, what's
Mm-hmm.
that? The
Spiral.
Spirax notebook, which I write friggin' everything down on. And then I've got my pretty, it's sort of gold,
Mm-hmm.
pretty with the ribbon, so I know where I'm up to. And this
Mm-hmm.
is like, yeah, I don't want to write just any old ramblings in here. I sort of save this for my
Mm.
deep thoughts.
Brainwaves. That's what we were talking about. Theta brainwaves. Yes, right.
Yes,
I knew if we went over the conversation, we'd pick it up. So
it
yeah,
would. It's
we
like,
were
where was the last place you saw it? Let's go. It's like that, isn't it?
exactly. Yes. Yes. So we were talking about when the downloads come. So oftentimes you will
That's what it was.
hear about like when you get inspirational ideas and downloads, etc. When is the best time when is the time that they drop in? And then what do you do with them? So what we were talking about was there are two, especially when it comes to meditation and it comes to inspirational downloads and things, there are two types of brain waves that you want to try and key into the most. And the first is theta,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the second is alpha. So alpha brainwaves is actually I did a whole topic on this in my mastermind last week. So let me just find my notes because I was talking about how to use inspiration as a guide in my
Yeah.
in my diva. I've got a mastermind, a fortnightly. So every fortnight, me and the girls. So anyone who has done my signature program, so the Seven Slaves to Life program, once they've been in that to it for a year, they have the opportunity to join the Diva Mastermind. So the Diva
Mm.
Mastermind, so it's spelled DEEVA,
Mm-hmm.
invitation only. Or if you ask to join, I may let you in. I'll just have to sort of assess where you are, I guess. But I want you to have done some of the work. Is
Right.
prerequisite for getting into diva. So I want you to be, understand your fears, how to move through them, know that everything is, based on your belief systems, and have done some amount of work. So yeah, the Diva Mastermind is all about just living better. So tapping into spirituality, intuition, and ways to live better, basically. So yeah, so the brain waves, and so this is what we we're talking about last week. Here we are. So different abilities at different levels. So there are four different brain waves. The ones where you the ones that you want to tap into for meditation and for intuition is theta. So
Mm-hmm.
theta brainwave is the first hour when you wake up of a morning. You're in theta because you're still kind of in that half dream, half in, half out kind of state.
Mm-hmm.
And the meditative brainwave, which is alpha.
Mm-hmm.
So, alpha brainwave is contemplative, meditative, mindful, creative visualization. So, when you are deeply relaxed and you think, what's my vision for the future? And then you can just let your imagination go wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the kind of state that you want to be in. It's a
Mm-hmm.
place for healing, it's the place for peace, and it's where you feel really connected to source energy.
Mm-hmm.
Theta brainwave is where you have the most access to your unconscious thoughts. So, as we know, 95% of our brain is unconscious. And what I like to say about theta brainwave is that the door bitch to your unconscious mind has gone off for a cigarette, and the door is open, and anything can come in and out. So, it's like, because your conscious mind will call bullshit on a lot of stuff. So, any of the
Mm-hmm.
big ideas that you have, it's like, I want to create $1 million business. Your conscious mind's going to go, bullshit. Yeah, I don't have time for that.
That's where your programming and your fears come in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
But when you're in theta, that little voice that calls bullshit on everything, it's gone. It's off. It's having a fag. So
Mm.
anything can kind of drop in and out. And that's when all of your intuitive ideas can really drop in and really marinade, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's when I get a lot of my really good post ideas. When any sort of creative writing or any sort of creative thoughts drop in, that's when it will happen. So theta is the first hour after waking up, and it's usually about the 20 minutes before you go to bed as well. Like if you're as you're just going off to sleep, so it's that kind of
Mm.
half in, half out. And Mills, you were saying that you get a lot of really good ideas, drop-ins, downloads when you're driving.
Well, I do. And partially, I think it's because I listen to a lot of podcasts in the car. So something, because we react, oh, sorry, we respond to things
Mm-hmm.
as many gens, we
Yeah.
respond. So I think when I hear people that I'm very in alignment with talking and I get lit up over what they're saying, and
Yeah.
as I'm driving, I'm like, shit, that's a good idea. And I was just saying, I've usually got my phone on my cradle as I'm driving, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll quite often just hit the record and I'll say something because by the time I get to work or wherever I'm going, 15 minutes later, whatever that
Yeah.
awesome
Yeah.
idea was might be gone.
Yeah.
So I've got notes and stuff on my phone that I leave myself, excuse me, to or trigger me to remind myself of, oh, what was that thing again? Because you've seen what we do. We can't remember a conversation we had 10 minutes ago. Do you think we're going to think of that or that awesome idea? But the other
Exactly.
thing I think when I used to go for walks and stuff, and I'd put my headphones on and I'd be walking and I'd be listening. And one of my mentors said, no, when you're in nature, go without. I mean, have your phone in your pocket for safety or whatever, but don't listen to things. Just
Mm-hmm.
hear the birds, see the trees, really get into that. And it brings you into a state of gratitude too. Being in nature is beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
that becomes, when you're noticing, it's a mindfulness.
Mm.
And I'm wondering whether we access theta at that point too, because or sometimes it might be when you're gardening and you're in the flow and you're
Mm-hmm.
doing something that you enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
and all these things will start coming to you. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering when you're in that gratitude flow state, and
Mm-hmm.
in nature in particular,
Yeah.
walking along the beach, for example,
Mm.
and things come to you and ideas and inspiration and things that light you up. And that's what I was going to is I know you said it's like in the first hour of the morning, but do you think
Mm.
when you're very in awareness and mindfulness and in
Hmm.
nature, that's also opening the door to theta as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of, it sounds like what you're describing as well could be in between. I think theta and alpha are quite similar, like the
Uh-huh.
meditative
There's
alpha
not much
and the
difference in the
theta.
frequencies
Oh,
of them, I
no,
think.
no, I think they are quite similar. I have, oh, I put it in my slides for the diva
Mm.
things. I'll send it to you and you can post it
Yeah.
in the notes if you like. But yeah, where was I going to go with that? Yeah, you can put yourself into theta at any time. So I think it was Edison. So you know that it invented pretty much everything.
Yeah.
um, Edison used to hold a metal ball in the middle of the day and just sit on the couch and let himself sort of drift off. And then when the ball dropped, it would wake him up. And that would
Mm.
keep him in that theta brain state because he knew that that's when the inspirational ideas would drop in when you're in that theta state. So he didn't realize what he was doing at the time, but he realized in that sort of just dozing off state is when
Yeah.
all the good stuff happens. So he would purposely put himself in theta by dropping off to sleep. But when the metal ball clanged onto the ground, it would be enough to wake him up, but stay in that state. So yeah, so it's interesting. Like I think that there's definitely a time and like there are definitely times when I go for walks, and especially if I'm really overwhelmed already or I'm already trying to work through something, then absolutely headphones go off and I just am present in the
You're in the
moment.
moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time too, like as I'm walking, it's kind of like when you're in that semi distracted state as well of like you're already doing something, so driving or walking, but you're hearing something at the same time.
Hmm.
But I think that kind of puts you into theta a little bit too. I find that I concentrate on audiobooks better
Mm.
when I'm doing something else as well that doesn't require a lot of brain work, like driving and like
I do that
walking.
when I'm ironing or something. I like
Yeah.
to put something else. So I feel like I'm multitasking, but it's not too draining. Yep.
Yes. And you're getting stuff
Yeah.
done and you're feeding your brain at the same time.
Because
But
if I was just to sit there and listen to a book,
oh my God, I'd rather stick this crystal in my eyeball than just,
right,
just sit there and
I would feel that I was not being productive, put it that way.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and that could be a manny gen thing as well, but I think it's probably like a woman thing in general as well. Like we need to feel like we're doing something, and maybe we don't have to, and maybe that's something to look at as well. Um, but
Because I
yeah,
do love sitting and reading a book, but if
mhm.
I was to sit there and stare out the window and listen to a book, I would I would feel a bit strange.
Yes, yeah. It's funny, isn't it? And like
Yeah.
I would get very fidgety, and I'd be like, "There's probably 20 other things that I could be doing." But if I'm
Right.
listening to something while I'm cleaning the bathrooms and things, like I think actually more will go in because if I'm sitting there thinking about all of the things that I could be doing, I'm actually not listening to the book.
Yes, yes, you're right. Like how many times do you see yourself when when you're reading and you've read an entire paragraph, you go, "Huh?
Mm,
I didn't take any of that in. I was thinking about the shopping list. I have
yep,
to go back and read that whole page again." That
yep,
happens to me a lot. And
yeah.
yeah, when your mind wanders when you're listening to a book,
Hmm.
that's why, yeah, I like doing it while I'm driving because my attention is there.
Hmm.
I'm not generally wandering off
Yeah.
up the fields with the fairies in when I'm in the car.
Yeah, 100%. And you've got to make sure that you're listening to something that you're interested in as well.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
there's been some books. I tried to read this book Down Girl, and it's all about like misogyny and the patriarchy and stuff. And the words were so big, I glazed over in the first like 20
Uh,
minutes, but I can't do this. But great book that you recommended to me the other day. I have started in on, and I am on chapter 2, The Wife Drought.
yes,
Have
I've
have you read it?
mine hasn't arrived yet
Oh, so
because you got it on Audible, right?
Spotify.
I
So
spotted. Oh,
another thing that changed my life, I was today years old when I realized you can actually get Audible books on Spotify when you've got premium. So I paid for premium because my daughter loves listening to music and always wants the latest whatever is coming out. And so I pay whatever it is, $17 a month or something on Spotify, and we've got the family thing, so two or three of us can listen. And yet I didn't
ah,
realize that they had Audible. And so when you sent me through that recommendation and I Googled it and it said on Spotify, and I thought, hang on. and then got to, and I'm like,
La
oh
la la.
my
So
God.
do you own it or you just have access to it?
I think I own it because I've downloaded it. So yeah,
Right.
because I pay the premium, whatever it is,
Yeah,
17
okay.
a month, yeah, you can download as many as you like. It doesn't have everything on there, kind of like
Yeah.
Audible does.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, there's some great books on there. And yet the Wife Drought is one of them. And
Yeah.
it's such a good book because it's not a man bashing hater book. It's
Yeah.
about all of us taking accountability for where we are at the moment, and just it just really puts a mirror up to our beliefs around what's
The
normal and what's not when it comes to gender
and the
roles.
roles we play and
Yeah,
how did we get there?
yeah, exactly. And like, that most it's so like statistics like you know, successful men in business who are CEOs in companies and things, when you look into their family childhood background, they would normally come from a nuclear family where the husband works full time and has a stay at home mum. But if you look at female CEOs, their childhoods are very, very different. They usually come from single parent families, they've been raised by single working mothers,
Mm.
and they still manage to reach the same kind of level. And
Does
where the pay gap sort of diverts is when like the pay gap is kind of on a fairly even keel until you get to about age 25 to 30, and then the pay gap widens because that's the age where women are starting to go off and have babies and things, and will drop off to part-time work, etc. So the pay gap as you get higher up in
mm.
qualifications is actually a lot bigger than what it is in more blue collar work. So yeah, just all these really interesting statistics. And what I would love to have on the show, just to see like what are the belief systems that they sort of had to break through. Like someone like the Nat Tuckers in the world, where Nat is the breadwinner of the family and Hunky is the one who would do the traditional wife role,
Hmm.
how she's become so successful, but what kind of belief systems did she have to break down within herself? And was there any belief systems that Hunky had to break down for
Mm.
them to make those two roles cohesive and work for them? Because I remember my brain was absolutely what when I first met Nat, and I was like, oh, you do all, and he does the cooking and you don't do any of that. And I have to say, like initially there was some judgment around that from me. It's like, oh, what? How did not judgment from like a oh you're wrong kind of way, but it was like but like it just completely it
Yeah.
wasn't even on
Yeah.
my radar that that could be a possibility. And like I'm a bit ashamed to say that at 42 that wasn't even on my radar. But there are,
Mm.
the more that I'm in this entrepreneurial space, there are women out there that do this, that are the breadwinners, and
Mm.
husbands do the running around, do the kid stuff, do the appointments, do all of that. So
They're
yeah,
the support more than the main character.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So if we all had wives, how much more successful would we be?
And I know we all joke about this so much because it's a role rather than a gender or a person, it's a role. So we all
Mm,
want support. If I didn't have to cook and clean, how much more energy would I have to put into building my business or
exactly.
working?
Yeah,
Like the mental load just is such an invisible thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing
To
that
have someone else have to do that for you, that you didn't even have to put it in your stratosphere of your aura of your brain to even think about it.
right.
Like simple things today, like today I had to do food shopping. I had to go to Woolworths and Aldi and the
Mm.
chemist, and remembering all of the things that I had to get at each shop, and like, oh, I had to get Ashton's prescription and da, 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 because that's
The
running
the inventory that's going on in your head all the time.
constantly. To
Mm.
not have that,
Right.
oh my God, what would I do with all my time?
I know. I know. Like, have you ever sent Mark to do the shopping and he comes home and you're like, well, what are we going to eat for the next 4 nights? Because I don't know what you've come home with
Yeah, yeah.
$200 worth of stuff, but
Hmm.
what is this? Because
Yeah.
they don't
No.
a whole, okay, well, I know I've got a packet of stroganoff mix, so I better buy some sour cream and some mushrooms then, So just
Yeah.
that inventory thing.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm not
just,
saying that's a female thing at all. I'm saying it's the role of
mm,
we are keeping tabs on how much toilet paper we got left and whose birthday is it coming up next week that if we see a card, we'll grab it, or I need wrapping paper, or like
Yes, all of
that,
that
the little things.
little things. Absolutely.
Obviously, we make it look so seamless and effortless because it's just constantly burning up a lot of energy, I would imagine. How many neurons are working on on this at any one time?
Exactly. On do we have toilet paper? Like, yeah, how much space and the fallout of fuck, I forgot the toilet paper. And
Mm,
it's like, oh, this is like and you're kicking yourself because you know you're gonna have to use tissues for the next day or two until you get to the
yeah.
shop again. But yeah,
And of
it's
course, and how many times when you got a full trolley and you're heading to the checkout and you think, now what was that thing again? Someone said, oh, we're running low on something or other, and the brain fog, and you end up walking up. I do this for like the last 10 minutes. I'm like walking around, going, trying to trigger
yes,
what
yeah,
it
yeah.
was. What was that thing again?
Yeah, mentally going room by room in your house, going, okay, kitchen, what do we got in there? Did we miss anything? Do I need to get the noodles?
Yeah,
No, no, I saw that there. That's okay. That's all cool. Da, da, da. And this is why things piss us off so much when people put freaking empty packets back in the pantry and we think
right.
you've got
That's
it.
catastrophic.
It's like my brain explodes. It's like, but it's this
That's
mental.
messed with the inventory.
It has, and they don't understand. It's like, oh, sorry. It's like you don't understand.
You don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Or they
Their
put
little hands go in and take the last muesli bars out and leave an empty box there. And I think we've got enough bars. I don't need more. Blah blah blah. I know,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Who
100%.
does this?
Yeah, but it's so it's the unmeasurability of it that I
Yes,
think
yes.
is what hamstrings us, and I think it's what we as women get so frustrated around. It's like you got no idea what we do.
And you think, oh yeah, okay, it takes an hour and a half to go and do the groceries and come back, but it's not the hour and a half. It's the hours and hours of inventory. It's the meal planning.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything else that doesn't involve just the groceries right then and there. Like you're constantly thinking about, oh, I need to change the light bulb. I better get the light bulb. I need to mend something, so I better buy some super glue. It's just the
Yeah. Or
constant.
the fire alarm beeped the other day, so I better get one of those little square batteries that go in it. Otherwise, we won't have that, or it's going to go off at 3 a.m. Or
Right. It's not
yeah,
just about breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. It's and
absolutely.
washing powder. It's
Yeah.
it's not about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so crazy. And yeah, I love how she breaks it down as yeah, as you say, it's a
Yeah.
role. It's not a
Back to the book.
gender.
Yes.
And but yeah, it's just it's so yeah, it's just such an interesting book to look at the statistics and even a lot of the things that since I've started this business, just in the last year, the amount of stuff like that sort of wife role that I've just released, and I'm like, you know what?
Mm.
I'm not friggin' Wonder Woman. So if the
Yeah.
sheets don't get changed for 2 weeks, they don't get changed for 2 weeks. If I only vacuum once a week, yeah,
Mm.
it just that's the only time it gets done. Like, yeah, there's
I was
just
going to mop all my hard floors the other day. Didn't get done.
yeah, yeah. It's
Oh
like
well.
there's
Oh
just
well.
stuff that I
The
just let
world
go
the
now.
world keeps moving. The world keeps
Exactly.
turning. Yeah, we're
No
good.
one knows. I'd be lucky to mop my floors 4 times a year, I reckon. I reckon that'd be a good year.
Right?
Because if there's a spill, you clean it up as you go along. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's amazing what we hold on to, what we do, what can let slide. Like it's just yeah, very interesting book if you have not read
Mm. Mm.
it. So the
So
wife,
that was Annabelle Crabb, wasn't it? For those that might be wondering what we're on about. So it's
yeah,
called The Wife Drought.
very well written. Let me get
Did
the
I get that author name right?
let me just find out where we home.
So she's an Australian, I think she's a journalist, is
She is.
she?
She writes very, very well. Yes,
Yeah.
Annabelle Crabb, The Wife Drought. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
very, very
So
interesting.
apparently this book came out in 2016 or 17 or something, and
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
was
how I'd
nine
never
nine
heard of
years
it
ago.
before until just last week. And I immediately sent Kez the link saying, oh my God.
Mm, yeah, yeah, really, really good book. So yeah, changed my life. Changed my life. Yeah. So yeah,
Well, it's just telling us what we already knew but didn't maybe have permission to
mm.
verbalize. I don't know. Is it
And it's
that
kind of
kind of
like
thing?
when the data is put boldface in front of you, it's
Hmm.
like even questions like people. when you're in a business and you're away at a conference, people will ask you, "Oh, who's looking after the kids?" Like, would you ask a man that question? Like,
Yeah.
just little things like
Yeah.
that sort of chip away at your belief system of what's normal and what's not. Just all of that. It just challenges and
When you buy yourself a new outfit, oh, did you have to run that past your husband?
yeah,
Huh?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very interesting book. And I'm only up to chapter 2. So yeah,
And it's already blowing your mind.
pretty blowing my mind.
Nice.
I mean, my mind's pretty easily blown, let's be fair. It doesn't take much to impress me.
Oh, we've been through a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, good chat. Love this.
Yeah.
So, should we delve into a little scenario? Because we left that
Let's
off
do
last
it.
week because we just kept going and going and going, didn't we? But I
Mhm.
think people like our take on our scenarios.
Yeah, well, I think so. Tell
Yeah.
us. Tell us.
Yeah.
Although I think Cherie, what did we do last week that we chatted about for a long time?
The
Because
menopause.
Cherie Hart, one of my mastermind ladies, she goes, I love that format, just talking.
Just
So she
chatting.
liked that as well. So yeah,
Well, we're
that's
good at that.
yeah.
Who knows where it's going to take us?
I know, right? We just
We
should
don't
jump.
pre-plan anything. We really don't.
No, no, we should just jump on a call, hit record, and just see what comes out, and then we wouldn't spend 5 minutes wondering what we are going to talk about because it would just be there.
Well, look, we want to put inspiration, I guess. We want to let you know there's alternatives to the programming that what we've all been raised in. There's alternatives to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The issue is never the issue. There's always an emotional core root to everything. And
Mm-hmm.
breaking down the layers of what our subconscious does to us and
Mm,
getting to the emotional core root, I think it's a really cool message. So,
mm, yeah.
um,
And I think knowing that we're going through it with you as well, like we're all
yeah,
of the same kind of vintage. Hopefully, we're attracting that kind of vintage of any woman between the ages of 40 and I don't know 70, like
yeah,
any space in between there. Like it's kind
yeah.
of we've been brought up with parents who have got the same sort of
Like baby boomer
belief systems.
parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So we've all grown up with the same kind of thinking, I guess, give or take. So
yeah,
yeah, just to show that we're doing the work and in the trenches with you as well. And
yeah,
like we might only just be like a couple of steps ahead because we're consciously doing the work, but knowing that yeah, we're constantly facing the same kind of don't want to
mm,
say struggles, but challenges as
yeah,
well. Yeah, as
yeah,
what everyone in our gen is. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, tell us what you want more of.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So what's the scenario,
All right.
Milky?
So, uh, anonymous. Oh.
Anonymous is a friggin' train wreck, seriously.
Anonymous is a 25-year-old female and she has a 27-year-old boyfriend. They've been together for almost 3 years. Planning We're planning our life together and going to residency after medical school. She says, we were just kind of talking tonight, and I mentioned that I wasn't sure if I was going to take his last name or not. I'd not previously said that I would like to practice as a doctor with my name, but I would take his name. But I had just been thinking about it lately, and now I'm not sure if I want to change my name or not. After I told him that, he said that he has a major problem with that and that he wouldn't want to marry me if I didn't change my name. And it became a huge problem. He left the house, and now I'm not sure where we stand. He told me he expects me to take his last name and that his wife will have his name. So I asked him if he would break up with me if I said I wouldn't take his name. And he just kept repeating that his wife will have his name. I said, well, then why don't you change your name? And of course, he thought that that was the craziest thing in the world. And he absolutely would not do that. And I said, well, why should I have to change my name then? Am I in the wrong here for considering to keep my last name? I feel like a lot of women do it now, especially female physicians.
Mm,
I still love him as much and I want to marry him. but I like my name. I got it from my dad, who's passed away now, and it's just important to me that I don't want to feel like my identity is gone.
Mm,
I haven't completely made up my mind, but it was just something that I'm thinking about, not sure what to do. I understand if he's frustrated about me possibly not taking his name, but I don't think it should be a deal breaker. Please
mm.
help. Bear in mind, they're not even engaged, they're
Yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend. So he's already, I mean, obviously they're committed, they've been together 3 years, and they're talking about their life together in the future as a married couple. So it's obviously serious, but they're not engaged at this point.
Yes. Interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
What do you think?
Well, I'm guessing. Look, there's a lot of guessing involved because we don't have backstory here, but the boyfriend most likely came from the nuclear family where that was just the done thing. So it's a built-in expectation that that's just how it goes.
Hmm.
You get married, you take my name, our kids have my name as well, and it goes down that patriarchal line. So I'm assuming that's his background.
Hmm.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, but to not even be open to discussing it. I've heard lots of stories about, particularly, with doctors and whatever, saying I earned my doctor in my unmarried name. So
Hmm.
when I'm practicing as a doctor, I'm Doctor maiden name, but when I'm a wife, I'm Mrs. So and so. So
Hmm.
I've heard about that happening because like my doctorate, my what certificate, whatever, has my maiden name on it. So that's the name I'm practicing under.
Yeah.
So I've heard of that kind of thing happening a lot.
Mm.
And kudos to you. You earned that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be really interested because he's taken such a strong stance on it. Like this is a deal breaker for him, obviously.
Yes.
I would
Yes.
get like, I mean, my first, I think when you first, like, before we hit the record button, Millsy quickly ran through it, and I said, "Well, don't let the door hit you on the way
Yeah.
out,"
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. But instead of looking at it in with that judgment, I would actually get really curious and say, "What does me taking your name mean to you?"
Right.
Because like getting really specific around why he's so emotional around it, I think would be really interesting for her as a potential life partner to know, because it could mean something really like deep and profound for him. And once
Mm.
you get his perspective on it, you might think, okay, yeah, I can see why you would think that. And even though it might not change your mind, it might influence how strongly you feel about it as well. So
Right.
there's definitely two factors. It is, yeah, what does it mean to him?
Mm-hmm.
And why does he feel so strongly about it? And just getting really curious about why that means so much to him.
Yeah. So
But also,
questioning with curiosity, I love that. So that's one of the foundational things we always say to people instead of judging and
mm-hmm,
getting straight into our adolescent self and flying off the handle and go deal breaker, slam doors, that kind of thing.
mm-hmm,
Questioning with curiosity about the reason why is so important to, because they might not have even verbalized this at any point. Like,
mm-hmm,
it, so letting them talk it through
mm-hmm,
to help them process it too, as well
yeah,
as then understanding it so you can help make up your mind.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, but
yeah.
go on. What?
And just yeah, kind of what stories has he made up around it, if there is any. So yeah,
Mm,
so she needs to decide how much it means to her. Like she's already expressed that it's her dad's name, and he wants to, she wants to, carry that name on.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you hear his side of the story, like get to the deep, like why does this mean so much to you? It might influence to a certain degree, whether she changes it or not. And
Mm,
there's certainly like my bestie Claire, she uses, her maiden name in her work. So she's a nurse, so she will use her maiden name in her work. But on her, on their banking, she's her married name. So there's certainly like professional and personal,
yep.
she can divvy it up. And I guess I mean, the only real thing that gets complicated, like I do know of a friend of mine who I work with, she was unmarried when she had her twins, and so the boys had her name. And then when
Mm-hmm.
they got married and she took on her partner's name, then she had to go through the whole rigmarole of changing the twins' name.
So the kids would then take the new married name as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that was probably a little bit more rigmarole and complication than what she would have
Yeah.
liked. But I mean, grand scheme of things, it's not, it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world as well. But yeah, I would definitely be asking with curiosity, why does this mean so
Yeah.
much to you, and why do you feel so strongly around it? And just let him, there's no right or wrong answer. Just I really just want to know how you feel about it and why you
Yeah.
feel strongly is what you do.
The
Because that's
reasons I guess I wouldn't want to change my name if I felt really strongly about it is like from a possession point of view. Like I don't
cool.
belong to you. I'm my
Yeah.
own person. I'm not a possession. You can't
Mm.
label me as yours. Like that's a very old-fashioned view about a man's property bears his name and things like that. So again, that's a very old-fashioned patriarchal thing that
Yes.
less and less people are doing that, but it is still the norm, really. Let's face it, it's still the norm that we would take our husbands' names
Yeah. Yeah.
or they become a hyphen,
Yeah.
but the hyphen name, I'm seeing more and more hyphens around the place. But
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
if a hyphen marries a hyphen and then you got four names? You know,
I didn't think of that, but yeah, that gets complicated then, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah. Or the kids might take mum and dad's name as their hyphen. Like I'm
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith and you're Mr. Black, so our kids are Black.
Blacksmith.
Okay, bad example, but you know what I mean. But
Funny.
that is funny. But
just, just a natural
I've
funny.
also heard of men taking their wives' names because
Okay.
they maybe were never particularly attached to their own name and they might have had a family background where maybe it was his father's name, but he has an estrangement with his own father, so doesn't feel he needs to belong to his dad
Yes.
in terms of, again, that's sort of a possession thing as well. Like, no,
Mm.
I'm not I'm not
Yeah.
part of that anymore. So there's lots of things going on with names and identity and possession and
As you said, the
yeah,
problem's never the problem. It's
the
always something
problem's
deeper.
never the
Yeah.
problem.
I would
Yeah.
I'd be very curious as to, yeah, why he felt so strongly, and yeah, let that kind of influence to a certain degree, yeah, what you agreed to do
Because
or not to do
and I
around it.
wonder whether there's a bigger conversation like, okay, well, if you expect my name, if you expect me to take your name, what
Mm,
else do you expect from me as
mm,
your wife? Do you think I should not be practicing as a doctor because I'm
yeah.
now a doctor's wife? I don't need to practice myself. Or,
Mm,
just the whole
yeah.
thing about who's going to be the wife and raise the children and do the
Mm.
things like,
And if this has brought up this issue, it's going to like open up a really interesting dialogue around, what values do you have around raising children and all that? Because Lord knows, me and my husband never had that conversation. Like we just thought it was
do you
assumed
want
that
kids? Yeah,
children.
me too. Okay.
Yeah,
That was it.
I actually think like when I got together with Mark, it was kind of like, oh, if you want them, yeah, we'll have them, kind of thing. Like he was neither here nor there
Mm,
about having them, but he wanted them because he knew that I wanted them. So
mm, mm.
yeah, and yeah, I guess you could even go deeper again was with like, did I want them because that was the expectation? Because that's what I was surrounded with as well. So I
Because
mean,
that's
I
our
think I still,
programming. You grow
yeah,
up, you get married, you get a house, you get a dog, you have kids. Like,
yeah, yeah. And I think though, looking back though, like when I was, getting 29, 30 years old and getting very, I want to have kids, I don't think that there was anything that would have stopped me from having them.
mm,
Like if I could, because I did feel very strongly at that
yeah,
time that, the pull to have a child and share my world with, a little version of myself. But yeah, interesting. Had I been brought up in this day and age, yeah, you question it a lot more, and you realize that you've got more options, especially when you've got open-minded parents you know,
us.
like
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
like us.
And it's
Yeah.
like, and yeah, my daughter, she's like, I actually don't think I will. And I said, well, that's
Mm,
absolutely 100% your
yeah.
choice, mother.
My
Yep.
16-year-old was having a conversation with me last night going, oh, I don't think I want kids, mum. I see what you do and I don't want that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize my life was that bad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm the thing to not be.
Yeah, but it's good that they've got options, and it's not
Yeah,
the end of the known
yeah,
universe if you don't have children,
yeah.
if you don't want to.
That's
So
it.
yeah, like my best friend again, she didn't have kids, and that was through choice.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and like Lila sees her because she's quite close in with our little family, and I think that my two are kind of her children that she's taken under her wing as well because
Yeah.
she'll do a lot for them.
She's got kids in
And
her life, just not of her own.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And like we went around the other, it was so funny. Like we'd gone to me and Ashton had gone to the op shop and I'd found a couple of tops that I knew that my friend would love. And so I bought them and I quickly dropped them around. And I go in there and she's zesting lemons and making lemon juice and lime juice and storing it away and putting it in the fridge. And I'm like, you have got far too much freaking time on your hands to be pre-zesting limes for your margaritas. Like, and I went in and I told Lila, and Lila's like, I want Claire's life. Like, she's got a little dog, she's got a beautiful house, it's paid
Living
off.
the dream.
She's zesting limes in her spare time. She's like, I want that life.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Charlie reminded me, oh, if you didn't have, she said, because I've got the three kids, she said, if you didn't have kids, would you have been a millionaire by now? And I went, oh, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
without, you know, you see the figures of what kids supposedly cost you over their 18 years, that they're your financial responsibility. And
Mm.
yeah, maybe I would be a multimillionaire
Yeah.
if I just worked and didn't spend it on children.
But would you be fulfilled and satisfied as a
Well,
person?
that's the other thing. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe I would. Maybe I'd be a CEO. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Mm.
But yeah, back to the topic. Yeah,
Yes.
I would be, I would want to definitely question further what it meant to him before jumping the judgment bus
Yeah. And
and
maybe it's a really good idea that they're having this conversation if it can be remained calm and constructive prior
hmm
to an engagement where you
hmm
feel that a ball is already in motion and that you might have to,
hmm
commit to things. It's really good to get that stuff out at this
yeah,
stage.
yeah. So yeah, and I love what you said before about the compromise as well. Could it be hyphened, or could she use her, maiden name professionally and her married name
Yeah.
personally? So yeah, there's those as well. My sister-in-law married her partner almost just over a year ago now, and same-sex marriage, but yeah, hyphen the name. And she
Mhm.
said she jokes now that she can't fit it on her Medicare card because
Uh,
it's too long now. But yeah, so yeah, that's the other alternative as well. Because yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? With the same-sex marriage, what happens?
yeah. Well,
Mm,
I guess they can write their own rules, can't they?
exactly. Yeah, have
Yeah.
been so far. So yeah, awesome. But yeah, I would definitely explore a little bit further around, see what sort of compromise there was, and yeah, maybe it's good having that conversation when they
Yeah.
really good book around um, sort of trying to find compromise within partnerships is the Gottman's book Fight Right.
Hmm.
Really good book. I think I've got it. Hang on Audible. So yeah, the Gottmans are relationship experts, and yeah, they're hang on, here it is. Here, just saying. Oh, I don't quiet you. So it looks yeah. So fight right.
Okay.
So it's really good about how to turn conflict into something constructive and actually enables you to be a lot more
Yeah.
connected. So yeah. So that's if you're fun.
Learning how to fight right or learning how to get through disagreements resourcefully is such a wonderful skill for couples to get, preferably before they're married.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
teaching them how to listen with compassion, how to question with curiosity,
hmm
how to, and knowing, like we were just talking about, the problem's never the problem. There's always something
Mm.
else.
Yeah. And there's always that opportunity to connect deeper with someone because if a big deal like this comes up and he's like this is a deal breaker, this is how it's going to be, da 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 da,
Yeah.
delving into that, you could get a story like, oh, my mum never took, my mum and dad never got married, and so I felt like they were never connected, and so I felt that they could walk away at any time, and they did, and like I felt like it didn't
Mm,
as much, and so you could get this whole other perspective around what this means for him and why it means so much, and then as a result, even though you don't necessarily have to agree with him, it will help
yeah.
you connect with him even more because like wow, I didn't know that happened to you in your childhood.
Yeah.
I
Again,
didn't.
well, that's the listening with compassion, isn't it?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize that was your experience, and where I feel like I understand you better now, and I feel like I can, like, we're more deeper connected because you've shared that story with me.
Mm.
So I know you better, and I love you more now because I understand this part of you. Still going to keep my name, but thanks for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if she shares, and if he has the ability to listen with compassion as well, going, yeah, okay, I like he feels really strongly he wouldn't give up his name. So
Mm,
why is her need to not give up her name any less important?
exactly. Yeah.
But
Absolutely
the
reciprocal.
whole he let like she said that he left the house and he is, if he's giving her the silent treatment now,
Mm,
if that's the way that they're going to argue,
mm,
it
yeah.
sets a pattern about, okay, if I don't get my own way, I'm just going to storm out and you're going
Yes.
to
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
abandoned or what have
Yeah.
you,
And I'm
whatever
going to
it
use my
comes down.
silence as a weapon until you come with your tail between your legs saying how sorry you are. And then I'll talk to
Right.
you.
And that
I'm
you're the
going to
man,
restore
so
my love.
yes, I'll
Yeah.
do whatever you ask me to do. So
Mm,
it's they're not fighting fair. So
no,
even just
exactly.
working out how to, because it sounds like this is their first major argument that they've had.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and he just kept repeating himself over and over, and that he wouldn't entertain any other
mm,
ideas. He just left.
yeah.
So that's if that's the pattern of how they're going to fight, they need to work out a better way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Mm,
it's a really good opportunity that this has come up. It's like, okay, if this is the way it's going to be and there's no compromise, well, then, you know, are we
mm,
really meant to be together as well? Like it could come to that as well. If
mm,
needs can't be met and if he's not going to compromise or he's not going to see any issue with what he's doing, is it time to
mm.
call it before it gets too much further in? And I'm not saying that yes, she should or shouldn't, but there's always choice. There's always choice.
And if you come to it as an equal partnership rather than there's a boss and a minion, like you
Mm,
you need to take if you love this person, you want their happiness too, and you want their needs to be met. So
mm,
why would you slam the door and say it's
yeah,
my way or we're not doing it?
yeah, yeah,
That's not the
exactly.
way
Like
we, yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't
you want
align.
to. No,
Yeah.
exactly. You want to hear what's important to them as well. You want to hear their
Mm,
point of view. So
mm,
yeah, no, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah. So we would say question with curiosity both ways.
Yep. And
And
listen with compassion.
yes,
Mm.
really solve the problems of the world once
There
again.
we go. We did it. I'd love the follow up of some of these people. Like, if
Yeah.
they kept going down the path they're on, where would that have taken them? Or if
Mhm.
they did the Mills and Kez way,
Yes.
where would that have taken them?
I know.
That
We need
obviously,
we need to get in contact with Anonymous because we've given Anonymous a lot
I
of
know,
good.
I
Yeah.
know.
Anyway, if you've got your own scenario that you would like us to work through, give advice through, give a little bit of like consultation around maybe, um,
Mm,
send it in. You can send it in anonymously. We've only had like one person that we know that's actually sent something in.
taken us up on it.
I
Yeah.
think they accidentally sent me something nice and oh, this will be good for the podcast. Can I use it? And they're like, yeah, okay.
Took that opportunity.
Yeah, but yeah, if you've got anything that you want us to sort of work through or give a different perspective around, please send it in because it means a lot more to us when it's someone that we know and we know that we're
Yeah.
personally helping
We
people.
just love helping people. Yeah.
That's
We love
what
to
we do.
share.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. All right. All
Leave
right.
it
We're
to
getting silly now. Okay.
you.
Thanks
Awesome.
for being here. If you've made it to the end, thanks for listening.
Appreciate you. Love you.
Okay.
We'll
See you
see you
next
for the next
time.
one.